Hi, good morning, everybody. We are in Boston, the city of Boston, and we are going to go to Quincy Market. Quincy Market was opened in 1826. It's also a place for great street performers.
Rob and I avoid cities like the plague. We don't go to Manhattan, we don't go to LA, but there's certain cities that you just have to stop and see. One of them was Nashville because of all the wonderful music, and here we're in Boston because of all of the fabulous history.
Yeah, we're going to take a trolley tour of the city, so come on with us.
Quincy Market is like the International Food Court with every possible food type you can imagine, and all of it delicious. The clam chowder line went around the building. With all of this choice in front of him, what did Robert get?
Now this is a hot dog. Directly across the square is Faneuil Hall, which is known as the Cradle of Liberty. Even today, the upper level is the site of debates, protests, and meetings. And downstairs is a market for clothing and collectibles, as well as the gift shop for the National Park. On the fourth floor is a museum that was closed when we were there.
Rob and I are great fans of what they call living museums. It's something they do on the East Coast that we don't do on the West Coast. And it's where they have people dress in character and actually act out instances from that historical period. And they stay in character. It's so fun.
We've just seen the Boston Tea Party reenacted, where all the tea was dumped into the ocean. I have mixed emotions.
Several of us were given character cards from personalities in the era, and we had parts to play.
I'm using Macintosh. Don't know whether I'm delighted or horrified to see you here tonight. You were behind the Stamp Act riots 8 years ago, sir.
Great. Now, if you are here to destroy the king's tea, say aye.
Aye!
If you are here to cast off that yoke of parliamentary tyranny, say aye.
Aye!
If you are here to be caught and arrested for treason, say aye.
Aye.
Indeed not, my friends. Does anyone know the punishment for treason in the colonies?
Hanging.
It is hanging and then followed by a death. Indeed, that's a fate I myself would rather wish to avoid. I'd be no delay in our actions here this evening, save for, of course, a few cautionary words. Out in the harbor, there are 3 of the King's Navy ships. They are the Captain, the Active, and the Kingfisher. And combined, they're outfitted with over 100 cannons that could easily level this wharf and all of us upon it. One! Huzzah!
Chinatown was not what we expected. Many of the restaurants had been closed by the health department. So where did we eat? Chinatown.
The gas lamps here in Bunker Hill are lit 24 hours a day, and each lamp burns enough gas for 2 homes. They're going to stop this.
Paul Revere's house was very interesting. I didn't realize what an entrepreneur he was. Not only was he a silversmith, but supplemented his income as a copperplate engraver, an illustrator for books and magazines. He even dabbled in dentistry. And no, he did not make George Washington's teeth. The city built itself around his house. It now sits in the middle of Little Italy. What a fun place.
The first blood spilled between the British and colonists was shed here. 5 colonists died, and it was the beginning of rumblings of a revolution. The Declaration was read for the first time from this balcony.
The USS Constitution is the oldest commissioned ship in the Navy. Even today, naval officers and crewmen stand at the ready on her decks. She was launched on October 21st, 1797, and she was called Old Ironsides because the British cannon seemed to bounce off her thick oak sides. The Navy was there training when we came. Fascinating to watch.
Good team, are you ready? Always ready! That's what it's all about! Go, 2-6! 2-6! That's one! Big champions! Launch you good! Launch good! Swoosh! Swoosh! Let's go! Motivation! Let's go! Got her! Got your hook! Safe. Good! Pretty good!
so Art Deco.
So, we're on the train, and we're coming from Boston going back to our campground. And the reason we're on the train today is because yesterday we drove the car into Boston, which was great, but the parking was
$48.
yeah.
And traffic. So now we don't have traffic and we don't have a parking ticket like that.
And we're having fun.
We like it. Okay, so it was only $43.
When our granddaughter heard that we were going to Boston, she says, "Oh, you've got to have a Boston cream pie." And I said, "Yes. Yes, I do." Cape Cod is actually a peninsula made up of multiple cities, and for the most part, its historic past is downplayed, and it is a beach lover's paradise for the rich and famous. We must be missing something. It just never really captivated us. Still, here's what we found. From the top of Scargo Tower, you can see almost the entire cape. We were so surprised to see this in a park.
I do love traveling with this man.
So we just went to see the Kennedy compound in Hainosport.
It wasn't there. We couldn't find it. It's somewhere. It's on a map, but we couldn't find it.
They changed the direction of all the streets, so you can't actually drive up to it anymore. And then they made a couple private drives, so you can't get there anymore to take pictures. So it was really disappointing. We drove a long way to come and see it. But it's an interesting fact. We're here on the Cape. We're really excited to go. And we're finding that a lot of the little towns have private beaches. In California, you're not allowed to have private beaches. All beaches are public. But here, the thing about Cape Cod is as you're driving down the Cape, it has water on both sides because you've got Cape Cod Bay and you have the Atlantic Ocean. But you drive right down the middle of it, so you don't see ocean from where you're driving.
We finally found a public beach. So here we are at the Marconi station site. We can't see anything anymore because they dismantled it, but this was the site where the very first transatlantic communication occurred. So from here to England.
So Robert, what great adventure are we off on today?
We're going to buy a toilet.
It's all part of the lifestyle.
Hi, we're here at the Highland Lighthouse. It was the very first lighthouse built on Cape Cod. The land was owned by the Smalls family, and they sold 10 acres in 1796 to the government, and they built this lighthouse. Henry David Thoreau liked it so much, he came several times to visit the family and wrote stories about it, and so it became quite the tourist attraction.
Well, to keep the tourists happy, they built an inn, a golf course, and a bowling alley, which was amazing. Who'd want to be here? It's freezing.
It's really cool.
It's really cool.
So First Encounter Beach is where the Pilgrims first met the Nasset Indians. So that's why it's called First Encounter Beach.
Yeah. Hey, did you know that the Mayflower landed here before it landed in Plymouth? I didn't. And as you can see by the weather, swimming is not on the agenda today. In fact, Hurricane Fiona is on its way up to Canada and will pass us tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's cold.
There's some wind, it's cold, and yeah.
What do you do after a lovely day at Cape Cod? Have a bowl of warm chowder and some focaccia bread. Then go home to build a fire.
It's day 3 and we stayed at our lovely campground. We played and we built fires, and we've now been to Cape Cod in the summer and in the fall, and it's not for us. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you like our videos, please press the subscribe button.